You are audible, ma'am.
Hi, Arushi.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, there are people coming in. Morning. How are you? Welcome
Thank you, ma'am.
to the webinar today on high demand. So today we have Mr. Neelesh Kapoor, and as you know, he's a people development coach, a business consultant, a trainer, an author, and a public speaker. He's written 3 books, which is Why My Horse Doesn't Smile, Corporate Anecdotes, and also Kuch Lamhe Zindagi Ke. And it's a pleasure to have you, sir. And we are all delighted for another very impressive session by you. Mr. Neelesh Kapoor, please. We have 2 more people coming in.
Thank you, Isha. Thank you. So, a very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Hi, Ashok. Hello, Manush.
Hello.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Be the presenter, delivering impactful presentation.
Thank you, Manush. So, this is a 1.5 hour session where we are going to talk about being the presenter. Now, I have many of you who have already done this part, which is, have you subscribed to your learning channel? If you have, just mention done in the chat. So thanks a lot, all of you, for giving a confirmation around that. Basically, when we talk about your channel, it is your learning channel. And the community that we talk about is Neelesh Kapoor Learning Community, where we keep on sharing and discussing topics around different business skills. When we started out, there was a video which was playing where we were talking about the various skills which are essential in business. If you are a student, it is going to help you there. If you are into, if you are into corporate setup, even then, these skills will remain the same, or whether if you are a SME, or rather MSME also, if we can mention, which is a micro, small and medium businesses. These are the skills, because in my coaching career, whatever I've handled so far, these are some skills which most of the times people do not give the required emphasis, that it becomes an issue. The business suffers. The reason why we are starting off with these webinars, which we are conducting almost week after week. Let me start off by the objectives of this session, what we are going to cover now. So there are 4 broad things which we are going to touch upon. First one being presentation skills. Second, pre-presentation preparation. What are the aspects which you need to consider while you are preparing to deliver a presentation? Next one would be delivering the presentation so that you can make an impact on the audience. And last but not the least, post-presentation analysis. Presentation skills. There is a very good quote by Mr. Henry Ford. I'm sure you would be aware of Mr. Henry Ford. He says, if you think you can do a thing or think you can't do a thing, you are right. Any ideas? What does this mean?
It just means that, like, it depends the way you are thinking. अगर आप कुछ कर सकते हैं तो वो भी सही है. अगर आप नहीं कर सकते हैं तो वो भी सही है.
Okay. Actually,
it's just the way you think, probably.
Right. Thank you, Arushi. So Henry Ford meant by this is, if you think you can do something, then you will work towards it and you'll be able to do it. And if you think you cannot do something, even then you are right. You will not be able to do it. Why? Because you think that way. Thought is something which is very important. Why I am putting this in presentation skills? Because here we are talking about a behavioral change. The skill set, any skills that you develop for yourself is usually in terms of a change in the behavior which you would need to bring. The presentation skills, what are they? They refer to the qualities to create and deliver a simple to understand and effective presentation. What are these qualities, if I may ask you?
We should be clear enough and make our audience understand what we are trying to say.
Okay.
It should be
Understand
effective.
what we are trying to say. Yeah. So clarity of thought.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. That's an important quality. Thank you.
The way you communicate, your communication has to be clear.
Okay. Communication has to be clear. Very good.
You should always
understanding of the
stick to
topic.
the content. You should stick to the content which you are trying to deliver. It should not be a case where you deliver something and you talk about something and the content and your talk and your conversation doesn't sync with each other.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Manush. And thank you, Vishal, for your lovely input. You are right. These are the qualities, some of the qualities that are essential in order to deliver an effective presentation.
Also the pitch also, sir, probably the way you're speaking, like if it's very low तो फिर वो समझ में नहीं आता, like proper pitch होनी चाहिए जो सबको समझ में आए, audible होना चाहिए actually.
You're right. Thank you, Rashid. What happens is, when we talk about communication, then all the aspects, even which we covered under the ACE session, where we talked about the pitch, the volume, the intonation with which you speak, all of these things come into play. Communication being the broader or maybe the bigger umbrella under which all of these skills will come into play.
Also,
So
the
yes.
way you're dressing also वो भी था. The way
Sorry?
you dress up in front, the way one dresses up in front of the audience while delivering a presentation.
Absolutely. Yes. That is also essential. And that is also a part of the presentation skills. Because when you dress up with confidence, what happens is you usually tend to get more confidence while you are speaking. Because you are comfortable and you're looking the way you should be presenting yourself.
Even the body language speaks a lot.
हाँ.
Yes. Thank you. Body
In addition to
language
that,
yeah,
yes, sorry, please,
yeah,
please.
Go ahead.
In addition to this, a few more points one should take care of. The presenter should reach the venue at least 15 to 20 minutes prior to of starting the session.
Okay.
And one should ensure that all the projector and other instruments which are required for the presentation, laptop, battery, pointer, all things are working properly.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Vishal. You're absolutely right. And these are the skill sets which we need to ensure that we have in place. And basically, when we have these things in place, what do we get? The effective presentation skills help you in case you are to deliver a sales pitch. Whether you are sitting in a performance evaluation or a review, whether you're conducting some training sessions, like a couple of pointers which Vishal pointed out, they're very apt in terms of delivering the training sessions. Even for other presentations, these things will help you in terms of getting the things, every infrastructure is aligned when you start off. And that actually will help you in terms of overcoming that fear of public speaking as well, which we are going to cover in some time from now. There are many others, like in terms of students. When there are students, there are presentations to be made, some to the prospective employers, some to the institute management team, some because for the Viva, some for internships. All of these places are where the presentation skills can be very useful for you. So there are three phases of any presentation, as we talked about in the start. First one being a pre-presentation preparation. Second one being an effective delivery. And the third one being the post-presentation analysis. What is your take on these three? I would like each one of you to take some time and think about it. What are the aspects which will be going into each one of these?
The pre-presentation preparation are those points which we have just talked about. And understanding of the topic and the content which one gentleman already shared, and the points which I shared with all of you. These are the points which are coming under the pre-presentation preparation.
Okay, yes,
Then,
you're right.
For effective delivery, one should be thorough with the content and understanding of the topic and contents. Then the dress up and other things which are required for the effective delivery.
Okay.
And the utmost thing what I feel is required for effective delivery is the connect with the audience.
Very good. Very good.
This is my understanding says. If
Mhm.
I am not in a position to, or if I fail to connect with the audience, then my delivery is not going to be anyway of is going to be haywire.
Mhm. So in
Then
says
for
also, yeah, sorry, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So for post-presentation analysis, like research is explained us about the pre-presentation analysis and effective delivery.
Mhm.
For post-presentation analysis, they can be, analyzing, what went wrong or what went correct. So that can come under post-presentation analysis, and the things which went wrong, to work for those in the future.
Okay, all right,
That can come under post-presentation analysis.
very good. What went well? What could have been done better?
To work on those things then for future.
Yeah, Sandeep, very good. Thank
that's
you,
why.
Vishal. It is so very true that this is something which will help you when we're talking about the post-presentation analysis. And you're also making notes and capturing pictures of how you've done and what you've done.
I think I also agree with Mr. Vishal, because I have also faced this problem that
Okay.
that if you're analyzing, as I have worked in the social sector, so when you have to do the reporting and analysis, so you need those things which you had asked the participants and written that time on the board.
Mhm.
So I think that's a very valid point that we should all have, because that time you don't have so much of time to note down everything. So even I've done that.
That's why. That's why.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you all of you for the wonderful inputs. Now let us talk about the pre-presentation preparation skills. I'm sure when all of you had registered, there was a mailer sent out to all of you with reference to a few videos on the channel. There was one around developing your skills on presentation. Have you seen that video?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Manush says yes.
Yes, sir, I was okay.
Good. Tuhin has also seen it. Very good. Ankit also says he's seen that video. Very good. I'm sure because most of you, if you've seen this video, you would be able to relate to this. The actor model. Sadhna also says yes. Thank you, Sadhna. So what is this actor model? Anybody can recall? Anybody can just recall what were the pointers or what are the components of this actor model? Tuhin says A, audience. Very good. Thank you.
C is for content.
T is for content. Tuhin and Arushi.
T is for thorough research.
T is for thorough research. Very good.
O was the objective for the presentation, and
Okay.
R was relating with examples.
Very good. And these are the aspects. This model is actually the basis of the pre-presentation preparation. A, when we talk about the audience, what they need and what they want. Now, what I mean by this, what they need is the topic that you are going to present to them. What are the components that you have that you want to pass on to them? So what you need to pass on that information, perspective, what they need to know when you present. And what they want is those aspects which they would be looking at when you are giving a presentation to them. So this can be around the age. This can be around their interests. This can be around what they like to hear. Sometimes you might be delivering a tough message. Right now, during the COVID-19 times, there are difficult conversations which you need to have in terms of presentation to the general employees or your team members, or probably even some of your clients in terms of the contracts and those things when you're giving a presentation. Whenever you're doing these things, remember what they need and what they want. There might be a conflict at times and you will need to fight that out. Only then will you be able to relate to the audiences in a better manner. Second part.
How good your, yeah, I would like to add something.
Please.
Yeah, that's how good your presentation or your report or whatever we are talking about depends on the audience. It might be very good for one particular set of audience and not at all relevant to the other. So we
So
have to
true.
see, it's the most important thing I believe is the fact that whom we are catering to. You might be giving
Wonderful.
a very good presentation to your boss, but then when it comes down to your team, it has to be different. Not the same one is not going to work.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful input, Isha. You prepared a presentation to give to your boss around how the performance in your geography has been. You gave that presentation, the boss was happy, the management was happy, everything is fine. Subsequently, you come down and you deliver the same presentation to your team members. And they are like, what is he trying to tell us here? We are the ones who actually worked towards it. He was just helping us and guiding us. So probably there you would need to change the mode of presentation and the way you are actually cascading the details. That needs to change. So as the audience changes, the presentation content, the way it is put forward to them would also need to be altered. How to fit what and where is totally up to you. You will need to take a call while you are doing this pre-presentation preparation. Thank you, Isha. Thank you. Second part, content. One is find out more. As much you can do about the topic. I've shared in one of the videos where we talk about you becoming an expert before you are going to present something to people. Because until and unless you find out more, you will not be able to become an expert. Second, you have found out more, then again, go back to the same, find out more. This is a constant process till the time you are aware about 100 questions which may come up for or around the topic that you're presenting. Once you know that there are these 100 questions which might come up and these are the responses which I can provide to the audience, that is the time when the content will be robust and the way you are preparing your presentation will actually help you. Mark Twain, I remember, said, I take around 3 weeks to prepare an impromptu speech. Can you think of somebody, an author like Mark Twain, वो कह रहा है यार मेरे को 3 हफ्ता लगता है कि impromptu speech देने के लिए. So how much preparation would you need to do if you are to present? Data catches the attention of the people. लोग सबसे ज्यादा डेटा को सुनते हैं. याद रखना एक अलग चीज है, हम उसकी बाद में बात करेंगे. बट हाँ, कहीं भी आप अगर डेटा शेयर करते हैं, if you've seen that video, I've shared an example. The moment I say presentation skills, around 79% of the people, they first think about PowerPoint. How many of you think that this is right? Just type in yes or no in the chat. Presentation skills, 79% of the people think it is about PowerPoint. Vijaya says yes, thank you. Just put it in the chat. A yes or a Y. Tuhin says no. Okay, very good. Isha says yes. Yeah. Arishi says 87% exactly. Okay, because we had discussed this earlier. Sandeep says yes. Actually, yaar, aisa koi data hai nahi. Sorry. Vishal also says not necessarily, but people feel so. It is right, yaar. See, there is no such data which I have with me right now. When I was, okay, Ankit says I was also going to say 87%. Remember, yaar, I have mentioned it in the video as well. There is no such data on which I worked upon. But when I gave some, I attached some data to the point I was trying to make here. Everybody grasped onto it.
I just wanted to add to Mr. Kapoor to this point that
Please.
again, coming to the actor model A, what they need and what they want.
Yes.
It's up to the presenter how confident the presenter is in communicating and making the audience understanding what they need and what they want. So
Yes.
it's up to the presenter how one is going to communicate.
It's absolutely right, Vishal. You're right in saying so, because what happens is there are some presenters who would just use a cue card, have some pointers on it, and not even press a button on the PowerPoint. It's not always necessary.
That's why.
This is a visual tool that you have so that you have the pointers mentioned instead of on a cue card on the slides, which you can present.
Further, one more point.
When we
What
talk
I
about
feel.
this, sorry, go ahead.
Further, in addition to this point, I just wanted to add that there is a concept behind all the presentations what I have seen and experienced in my life, that the more the senses we apply, the more the grasping is going to be. So for our audience, the more the senses they are going to apply, the more grasping they are going to have. So audio, video, that's why.
That's
We
fine.
are
Exactly.
when we are speaking, it's audio, and when they are seeing, it's a video. That's why.
Good. If you refer to the discussion that we had, even one of the videos I've posted on the channel, where I talk about these things. You remember, I think you were also a part of that session when we talked about the VAK tool, the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic.
Yes, yes.
That is where this comes into play. When a person is a very good orator, he might be able to convince people because of whatever the way the person narrates things. But it's not always true for everybody. Some people will look at the visual aspects, which probably this PowerPoint helps as a tool. And some might be able to learn when you make them do some activities, the kinesthetic learners. So let me just share with you something around infographics. I'm sure you have seen that last video which I had uploaded around using the infographics. What are infographics all about? So when I talk about infographic, one is this data, which you can see on the screen. The other is this data. Which data will appeal more when you are presenting it to the people?
The second one.
The second one. Thank you.
Second one.
Thank you, Manush. Why the second one will appeal more?
Because it's
It
compact
is more
and concise.
informative. Sorry, Vishal, go
It's
ahead.
informative
Sorry.
also and it's understandable also.
Hmm.
And वो दूसरा वाला the first one उसको पढ़ने में थोड़ी difficulty होगी, so that's why.
Right. Thank you. See, this is exactly what happens when we talk about infographics. It might be the same information on the left, but the way it is presented on the right, that makes the difference. And that is something. Okay, Tuhin says the second one because it is more concise. Yes, because first can be a set of data that you are presenting. The second one is the information that has been derived from using that data. It's always important in presentations. You use or showcase the infographic method to present the information and not show the data only. Though data is something which leads to the information. Let me just carry on with this. A few more infographics for you. This can be one of the infographics which you can use around comparison. There are two business operating plans. There can be different aspects to it. The financial aspect. The second one which talks about maybe the online modes. Third one which talks about the number of customers. Fourth one which talks about the growth in revenue. Maybe these are the four aspects we are considering in the business operating plan. Instead of presenting it only in the form of a graph or only in the form of some chart, if you use this infographic, it would probably be giving a good comparative analysis of the operating plan 1 versus the operating plan 2. Again, something I have shared in my video as well. Second one, statistical infographic. This talks about inventor attributes. So what are the attributes? There are different ones which are mentioned here. Curiosity, imagination, ambition. All of these, what are the percentages? And this research has been conducted in multiple countries. If you look at the yellow and this part here, mature countries, yellow, and probably a pale yellow for the emerging countries. Which percentage who has given? Everything is in the form of this pie which is showed up, or not even a pie, I would say, more of a circle with all the attributes mentioned here. And what is the motivation to intent? You can see love of inventing, social good, making money, fame. Which percentage of the people have voted in favor of what? Next, another one, another infographic, timeline infographic. Very helpful when you are talking about basically presenting some details to your prospective clients. When they land onto your website or when you are going to make a PowerPoint presentation itself, you can use a timeline infographic which actually states about when you started, what were the milestones, which year, what did you do, all of those things.